Compliment of the season. Hope you all are having a great holidays. It's a season to rejoice, a season to be happy, a season to marry, a season to spend with loved ones, and I hope you enjoy it. Welcome to Nanyacim. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smash the subscribe button, turn on the notifications so you get notified each time I upload, and please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you so much, and I want to say a very big thank you to every one of you for always coming back to watch my videos. You all are the bomb. All right, so today I saw this making round TikTok, and I was like, I'm definitely bringing this here so we all can talk about it, because it looks like some people have been shying away from this, or when we talk about it and they tell us it's what our ancestors went through, and we should stop over, we should get, or they're always like, we should get over it and move on. And then knowing this and saying this, I kind of feel so bad, because I feel like my ancestor was went through a whole lot. And the worst part is that these are not being taught. You don't hear this and they don't teach this, and we do not, in history classes they were not taught. And I personally think that whatever you all did back then should be taught. We need to know. Other people also need to know about it, because we need to know how we started and how we ended. With that being said, let's get into this video so you all will see.
When I found out if people used to eat black people as a delicacy.
Y'all already know when I want to talk about something important, I just hop out the bed and start recording, so excuse the bonnet. But if you want to learn a little bit more about the real U.S. history, then please stay. As an ethnic studies major and somebody who learns about African American studies daily, here is some more information I don't think you should have to pay thousands of dollars in college tuition to know. Do you know about the Tulsa Race Massacre? I was literally in college when I first heard those words, and yet it is such a major massacre that nobody talks about in U.S. history. If you don't know, within one day, a white mob stormed the city of Tulsa, Oklahoma, which was one of the most affluent black communities, burning this city to the ground. They literally had airplanes dropping bombs from the sky. This community was devastated, and yet its history is not really known. Why is this? Well, it has to be for the same reason that white families, I'm not even saying historically because this is not long ago, used to literally attend what they called picnics or carnivals to literally watch the festivities being a black person being lynched. Proof of this is available on Google, because they would take pictures as families in front of this lynched man for postcards that were supposed to be seen later. If Christopher Columbus was the man he was and George Washington walked around with slaves' teeth in his mouth, I don't see how any of this is hard to believe. The one problem that I have when learning ethnic studies or any sort of history is the fact that it's always taught from a standpoint where white cultures did the things they did because they were fearful. Fearful of what exactly? The black community, the Hispanic community, the Asian community, the Muslim community, the Native Indian community have all dealt with fear revolving around one thing, and that is white privilege and or white fear. Minority groups as a whole have had to historically fear white privilege because it is a dominant form of discrimination that does not make it easier to be a white person, but inherently makes it harder to be a person from a minority group. We have no privilege that makes it easier to live through poverty. We have no privilege that allows us to bend the laws and get off on certain cases. Historically, we have not been able to commit mass genocide or enslave people, and yet it's all put on us as being barbaric or feared. The fear is not of us. And it has taken me all the way up to college and reading through books and watching TikTok videos to see that. The fear is in losing a privilege that allows them to avoid hardships that we have faced historically. Please read about Yellow Peril, the Muslim ban, how society is taught to hate certain groups and fear certain groups of people, and then you will see they're afraid of losing power.
There are some things you hear and you are like, is this real? But it's real. It's not, nobody's making this up. Yeah, but then let's get into the second one.
There was definitely cannibalism happening in the antebellum days. I recommend people checking out this book, The Delectable Negro.
I shouldn't have done the chef kiss, but
There's a part in the book that talks about the transatlantic slave trade and how white men on the ship would eat the black men on board. They would spend months out at sea and they would overpack the ship with enslaved people, knowing that they would lose cargo. Food had to be rationed, and sometimes they would get hungry enough to eat their cargo. The rumor of cannibalism was kind of quickly dismissed because America had to keep this image that they were a civilized society with all their guns and colonization. So yeah, white people did eat black people, and they try to hide that part of history, just like they threw our babies to the gators, or they had breeding farms all throughout the South.
A lot has happened.
Hey Marie, you think that shook you? Wait a minute, just stay right here, girl, cause you about to be real shook. If you're spiritual, by the way, also stay. If you're POC, stay. If you're just interested, stay. White people, you might be a little uncomfortable knowing what some of your ancestors motherfucking did, but oh well. Like I said, if you're spiritual and all of that, you believe in starseeds, stay, because I'm about to tie this in the second part of the video to all of that. Anyway, now this is just the beginning fact. Keep this in your head, okay? Picnic. Y'all know where the word picnic came from? Back in the day, back in the day, like it wasn't 50 years ago. Back in the day, slave masters used to go to auction, you know, to pick out their slaves. Picnic, right? Yep, you're getting it. I feel like you guys are clicking. Picnic. They'd be like, I'm going on a picnic to go, you know, yeah, you guys get what I'm saying. It was an abbreviation. It was also, the term for, you know how we use picnic now, like, yee, blanket in the grass eating food. It was the same back then too, except for it was a blanket in the grass eating food, watching slaves get lynched. It would be like entertainment. Let's go have a picnic. Yep. They would get to pick to get, yep. And we still use that term today. And if you try to look up information on it, you'll get gaslighted because, you know, white America, white history never wants to own up to what it's done. So it's inconclusive in some studies if the term was actually racist back then. And then you have also interviews and videos, and also I don't know what to say. It's not like a report. I don't know what to call it. I guess we could just say interviews of people who grew up in the South. Their grandmas who were slaves say they're not even allowed to use the word picnic because it gives them PTSD. They're taught it's like a bad word in some Southern households as black people. Yep. Now, this is for the starseed community. This is for my spiritual POCs, all of that. So you can dip out of this video now if you guys aren't part of that community. Cool. Now, this is the kicker. And this is coming from my ancestors. I went in a deep meditative state the other day, tripping. I'm going to say this as nice as possible. Y'all can stop telling us what the fuck we can and can't say. This is why y'all don't have the fucking right. This is why white people do not have the right. And this extends into the spiritual community. Do not let white people gaslight you and tell you that the term starseed is racist and ableist because their white-ass founding fathers put a fucking toxic-ass label on our ancestors' teaching, stole our ancestors' teaching, gave it a name, and then went crazy with it and used it to spread hate and racism and do what they did best at that time. And it's our God-given right as black people to re-fucking claim that word and change the meaning of it, just like we have now with picnic, and it just means going out with family and eating. And like we've done with the N-word and queer and gay and everything else. Leave people alone. Specifically black people. Stay out of our business.
The nigga was too stunned to speak.
I got a couple for you. Did you know on the plantations they would force children as young as 6 years old to perform orgies in front of them before shortly joining in? Did you know they would host Super Bowl-like events to watch a black man and or woman be tortured alive? And they would be out there cheering it on like it's fourth quarter OT. And by all means, they would have little Johnny and Emily down there trading our body parts like baseball cards. Did you know sagging really didn't start in prison? Sagging actually started on these gay plantations, letting a grown-ass white man know which little black boys were available and which ones weren't. Now spell sagging backwards. You got us again. Did you know in the transatlantic slave trade that they would take the most attractive black woman and or little girl, shackle her to a bed, and let's just say on a 3-month journey, she only had enough time to sleep 3 full nights. And she clearly didn't survive past 1 year due to the immense amount of sexual assault or the diseases they brought into our lands. Black men, did you know while you were being mutilated, burned alive, tied around trees, they would cut your Johnny off and give it to a white girl as a souvenir? And they wonder why they got jungle fever.
You are like, God, all this happened to just like one people, like a particular group of people. I mean, it's really been a long, man, really, I am just so sad and triggered, and I just do not want to, like, trying to wrap my head around what my ancestors went through. And not just like they went through, we are still going through shit, because it did not stop there. They went through things, and we are also going through things. Yeah, because they won't still let us be. Yeah. And we are trying to rise. We are trying to, like, we are doing our best, yeah, to rise. I mean, to put past some certain things, but then they keep coming back and all that. One thing I think that history should be taught in full in schools. I mean, nothing should be excluded, because if you have got the guts to, like, they go on picnics, stay with their kids, and they watch, like, you watch them, or they watch Lynch, like, a person of color, or like, black people, and see all these things. We need to know how they started it, and how sorry, and how it's going. I mean, it's just a shameful thing, really, because and they always like, play the blame game, that, like, it was what your ancestors went through. You all should get through, or you guys should get through, or get over it, and live your life, because we're not the people that did it. It was your ancestors, and some of your grandfathers or your fathers were part of this. Some of you don't. You all know. You all know. Some of you know, because I watched some certain things about the things, like, white people were revealing to. White people revealed some certain things about what they did to black people. And it was one of them, like, how they hunt black people. Yes. Some of you all, fathers, uncles, yeah, hunted. They all are still hunting black people. Yeah. So if all these are happening, please, what is the way forward? Because I don't see this. I feel like this thing is not, like, stopping anytime soon. It's not stopping anytime soon. Yes. But then it looks like we all got to be guarded. Definitely. Black people, people of color, you all got to be guarded. Because the way it is going, I feel like sometime again, things that happened in the past are still going to happen again. Yeah. But then this is where I'm going to, I don't want to go further. This is where I'm going to, like, draw the curtain for today. And I want to say very thank you to everyone who for always supporting. And see you all in my next video. Bye for now.